Dang, you guys waited a full minute for this show to start. Hey, good on you. I really like you guys. As you can see, this is not Chaz and Friends. No, 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 no. This is Red Dog and Friends. And here's some things we're going to talk about today. So we're going to talk about Bryan Danielson. We're going to talk about, the viewers' ratings for Dynamite. We're going to talk about, you know, some stuff that happened on the women's wrestling side of things. We got a lot to talk about. So we want you to just, hang in there, hang in tough, hang like new kids on the block, hang tough. And welcome to Red Dog and Friends.
Warning. The following program is a collection of idiots talking about the happenings in the sports entertainment world. It is meant to be comedically informative. The opinions expressed on this show does not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their bosses, or the Infinite Plus network. There may be some out-of-pocket things said on this show because this is how we talk to each other. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further. Your homies, the 3 Count Podcast. P.S. Please don't sue us.
Hit him with a pin him to the ground and the crowd go wild, man. Down over here.
It's not even this show today. That's right. Hi, it's your friendly neighborhood Red Dog, and this is Red Dog and Friends.
No one told you life was gonna be this way.
What's up? That's right. It is me. That's right. The Air Force veteran intel specialist, the one you call on when you need to get the job done, and your friendly neighborhood Red Dog. And this is Red Dog and Friends, and welcome to our show. But it is never about me. It's about the people who are on this show. Because as you can see, Chaz nor Twitch are with us, right? Chaz decided that he wanted to go watch the Ravens game. Cool. Whatever. And then, Twitch decided he wanted to get attacked by a hurricane. So, it is what it is. So
I know that hurricane did nothing, and he just attacked it like that. So messed up.
So as you can see with me right here, right next to me, it is the residential super villain, the Dark Lord himself, the Dark Goat himself, and the man that witnessed Hercules tap out Atlas. Is that man right there? He is Damien Fatal.
That was actually a really good match, actually.
I heard.
Seeing that again. Kind of reminded me of like Braun versus Bronson.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, yo, it's just 2 meaty men slapping meat.
Hey, look, that's why we got the Grand Canyon.
Yes, 100%.
The ring broke.
Nah, all right, but like always, guys, we ask you guys to come subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Spotify, listen to us on Amazon Music, check us out on that one app with the dumb jingle that goes iHeartRadio or whatever it is, right? Check us out on ProWrestlingTees.com, or even go check out our merch on ForYouWear.com. You're doing all that stuff. You telling your mom about it, your dad about it, your aunties, your uncles, your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, and your best friends and your enemies, because we love haters too. You're doing all that stuff because you love us and we love you. So let's talk about some fun stuff that have been going around. We're going to go into everyone's favorite. So, we just got done with this thing right here. I forgot to hit the button, but we're going into this thing. Temp check. So if you guys don't know what Temp check is, it is our hottest and our coldest wrestlers plus our match of the week. And that's what you guys get to see. So let's talk about it. Damien, what's on the Temp check?
Ooh, okay. So, my hottest is going to have to be the Bloodline 2.0 for laying out, the OG Bloodline, or the part of it. Let's just say that. Good showing, made them look strong, made them look threat, made it need that Roman needs some help.
Yeah.
I have a B. I have a B too. So, Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I kind of really enjoyed him beating down Orton. He choose a side. You chose the wrong side. Favorite line of the whole entire thing is great. My coldest, we already know who it is. Come on. He wrestled last night. Can't believe somebody
He
said it.
did.
I keep hearing it was a good match, but I refuse to think that it was a good match. So he's my coldest. I feel so bad. Ah, poor Mark. That poor guy.
He did his thing though.
I heard he did his thing, but like, who did he make mad?
I don't know.
Like, who did he make mad to be paired up with Jericho? Damn.
The Ocho was like, I want that title back. Everybody's like,
Ah,
no.
and yeah. You know what? I'm gonna know. I know what I said earlier, but I'm gonna say that for dumbass of the week. So, my match of the week. Okay, I'm gonna have two. All right, so one Carmelo and LA Knight.
Yeah.
Very solid. Enjoyed that. Maybe a little too much. Was really really good, really fun. Carmelo, a gem. That's all I gotta say. That hold on, I can call him a kid because he's way younger than me. That kid, bright future in wrestling. Period. No matter where he goes. My B, and you know what? I'm gonna only admit to this because Chaz is not on here.
I
And
love
that
it.
is ah Will Ospreay, Ricochet, and God damn it, I gotta say his name slow because I will fuck it up. Takashna. Like I can't say his name fast because I will fuck it up, but it's so simple. Those fellows, God, so much. It's normally not. It's not my type of match. However, Takashna looked like a beast as he should have. Um, it was good. Like it exceeded my expectations. For one, I mean, I knew it was going to be good. Let's not. But I feel like that was like the best part of the show for me. Like I could have walked away from it and not saw anything else and would have been happy.
Yeah.
Actually, it was really good. Like it really was good. So yeah, that's my B. I gotta give them some love. Those three guys actually they put on a clinic. It was good. It was some good old fashioned indie wrestling.
It definitely was.
Like
Hun-
I can't yeah, like I can't even get mad about that. It was legitly some good old fashioned indie wrestling. They killed it. They were safe. They took some nasty ass bumps that looked nasty as fuck, but we know those three men, they're pros. So like, I
Yep.
can't take that away from them. So there you go, Chaz. That's your one, and you weren't even here to witness it. Damn.
Tough breaks for that man.
Damn.
Tough breaks for that man.
Right?
So my hottest wrestler of the week. It's funny. I'm have two. Right. I have to agree. Kevin Owens definitely needs to be on that list. But let's talk about the man who now has his fourth title reign as an AEW heavyweight champion, Jon Moxley. Because that match they had last night was actually a lot of fun.
The match itself was fine. The match itself was fine. The story, the match itself was fine. I could have did without the end.
I could have
You
done
know
without the
why?
end.
The only reason I say that is because it leaves more fucking question marks than this is supposed to be the end. So
Yeah.
like, why would you go? Like, I feel like that was too much. You know
I
what I
got you.
mean? Just a little too much,
Yeah.
especially if this man is supposed to be gone. That's the only reason why. And that's the only reason why I guess it kind of took me out of it. It kind of ruined it for me, actually. I hate to say that because the match really was not. It wasn't bad at all. Like it was a really good match.
It was a
Actually.
great match.
Which, like, I didn't expect anything different. Like, as much as Moxley gets crapped on, he for one, he's a credible heel, credible champion, a person that they can count on to carry the championship, to put it on the next person and get them over. He can get over really easy whether he's heel or face. He's like their go-to. It's kind of almost like their John Cena in a way. Oh, he's gonna hate that. He
Facts.
kind of is though.
He
Think
kinda is.
about it.
Yeah.
Big match John.
Big match John. He's definitely gonna be happy when he hears about that.
So, he's not gonna be. But
I
it's
think for me-
true though.
I think also my coldest wrestler of the week. It's kind of weird to say it this way, because we're gonna talk about him later in the show, right? Actually, you know what? I didn't want to go that way. I'm not gonna take them. Let me go with my coldest wrestler of the week, though. Let me take Cody Rhodes. I know a lot of people are gonna be like, "Why Cody? You know, what was the problem?" It's the idea that like this man, right, beats Rome, or they win their match right last week, and then the Bloodline like show up, and then like he didn't do anything. He didn't on SmackDown. He just he knew what was happening. He was just like, "Nah, that's cool." I feel like what I love about Kevin Owens, right, is that Kevin Owens always knows that there's something always going down, and he always calls it out, right? Like if you mention someone's name 3 times, like they're gonna appear. You know what I mean? Like that
Right.
kind of thing. And like Jimmy and Cody saw each other in the hallway, and they trade off that little thing like Big Jim, Dawg. Hey man, I see you doing your thing. Don't expect us to help you out again, but we see that you're doing your thing. Respect. And he leaves. And then like nothing. Like the OGs get their asses kicked. And where was he?
Oh, remember he got.
Yeah,
He,
not to
what was
mention that.
he was gone though. Remember, he
I'm-
was gone. Did you
Are
see that
they
part?
ever really gone?
Well, we know they're not really gone, but
That's what I'm saying.
technically he got on the bus and left.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Though he did.
So I mean, he should have stuck around. I guess I know what you're saying.
I mean, and then like earlier in the show, right? KO's out there, and he goes out there and they start arguing, and then KO punches or back elbows Randy by accident, right? Accident, and then Randy hits him, and then all of a sudden KO beats Randy's ass. And where was Cody? Cody wasn't around. Cody was being selfish. He was too busy drinking his Wheatley vodka on his bus. You know what I mean? Like, that's the problem. That's why I'm putting him as my cold. It's the first time. Sorry, Cody. That's where you're going to sit for today. Everybody else is going to be like, because, because if Cody goes out there and he helps save the bloodline, right? The OG bloodline. And then KO comes out and kicks his ass. It is what it is. It is what it is. But you're returning a favor, and you didn't even do that.
I get what you say. He kind of left everybody high and dry
He
on
kind of left everybody
Friday.
high and dry. I'm like, selfish ass dude. Like, you're a champ, now you just don't want to do champ things. Okay, cool. Do what it do, Top Dog. Do what it do, Dawg. Because apparently that's his nickname with Big Jim. Yeah, my match of the week though, I definitely have to agree. Ricochet, Will Ospreay, and Takashita were just on fire. There's not a you know what? I'm gonna say there's not a close second, but we did get a couple messages in here that were dropped in letting us know like who they thought, and I do have to agree. Sheamus and Pete Dunne from Monday night.
That was good.
Was a great match.
That was a really good match.
I definitely give a lot of love to that. But another match that a lot of people haven't really talked about, which is kind of weird that they haven't talked about it, but I have seen like small mentions of it. The Young Bucks and Private Party were on point.
I heard some mixed things about it. Like the match itself was great. It was just the build to the match. It made you feel like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it was no build, but that I'm not surprised that the match itself was really good. I mean, I hate the Young Bucks, but they are a good tag team. I like Private Party. I know they're a good tag team, and we've seen them wrestle before, so we know they got chemistry.
Right. 100%.
So, like, I just wish that the build would have been better, so more people would have cared.
It goes right there. See, Corey said it too. KO for being heel, He's the hottest for being the heel that we all love. Coldest goes to Cody for getting Randy beat up. And then match of the week goes to LA and Hayes. So yeah, 100%. I was just like, bro, what the hell was that all about?
Cody did
Hottest,
get Randy beat up.
second attempted murder of Bryan. Yeah, Bryan Danielson definitely.
You would like that, you degenerate.
It was just it was wild. Speaking of Bryan Danielson, we do know that when he drops the title, which spoiler for those who don't know, happened last night on Wrestle Dream to John Moxley, he was going to retire full time. So the topic of today is, where does Bryan Danielson's career stand with the greats? Go ahead, Damien. Let's lead us off.
Ooh, all right. I'm trying to figure out if I want to give my honest opinion. But do I want to lie a little?
Lie a lot.
Lie a lot. Oh shit. Okay. Okay. I'm only gonna judge from the time that he started to the time he left WWE. The only reason why I'm saying that is because, okay, yes, he had some great matches in AEW, but I mean, you know, let's keep it real. That's not going to define his legacy. No offense. So,
all taken. No, I'm just kidding.
Dude, he's had a great fucking career. He has faced some of the greatest out there. He's a machine. An unreal technician, actually. I don't know. Every time I see him in the ring, he like boggles my mind. It's one of those where it's like, you know what? Thank you for the entertainment. It's shit ton of years entertaining us, making us gasp. He's had like a really great fucking career. This is definitely Hall of Fame worthy. When he's ready for it, hands down, no matter where it's at. And you know what? I guess you could kind of say he's had probably one of the greatest careers. I mean, think about it. He went from, nah, kid, you can never draw money, to main eventing WrestleMania, opening and then main eventing WrestleMania.
Yeah, two matches in one night.
Yeah,
in one night, my man had two matches.
Yep, beat Triple H, Batista, and Randy Orton in one night. Three greats.
All of Evolution.
As a matter of fact, all three of those guys made our list.
They did.
So there you go. That should tell you something. So yeah, no, he's in the conversation of like a top 20, probably a top 10.
Yeah, I was like,
I had to think about that. Definitely a top 10 though. You know what? He could probably be arguing in a top 5. Just because if you think about all the stuff that he did, the yes movement, like, I mean, how many people have done that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he could arguably be a top 5 career easily.
Yeah, I think for me, it's probably in top 6, if I'm gonna be honest. And I don't want to say he's number 6, right? I my argument top 5, and people will be like, well, why would you pick a random like 6? Because I can. Because when I think of people, I mean, you think about Taker, Austin, Rock, you think of John Cena, you know, Sean, Brett, you know what I I mean? Like,
a couple of people are there. There's a couple
William Regal, you know what I mean? Like, we'll just throw a name out there, right? Even though he really never won the big one, but then you look at
still had a great fucking career.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I look at. Kofi, you know what I mean? Like,
Nigel.
A lot of Nigel. Any member of the Shield,
right?
Keep it $150.
Yeah, any member of the Shield, you're right, hands down. Punk, like that's like plenty people. Drew,
yeah, you're arguing in that. Hogan, I know people don't like him, but let's be real.
Let's be real.
He held down the 80s and 90s for a good while. He was the name that everybody talked about. And of course, then from there, you obviously have Bruno, and then you have Roddy, you know,
There's so
Ricky
many
Steamboat.
people.
I mean, there's
Macho
there's tons and
Man.
tons of names
There's
that we
just
can
so
like
many.
throw out there. But when I think about Daniel, I also think about the matches he's had in ROH, and I think about the stuff that he did in the E, and then I think about the stuff that he did in AEW. Because let's be real, his matches with Okada and Zack Sabre
Oh no,
Jr.
they're good.
Yeah,
They're really good. I'm not taking that from him. I just don't like AEW. Sorry. I
no,
don't like how they
I feel
treated
you.
my man's
I feel you.
twice. Not only did you do it to him once, you did it twice.
Yeah,
Twice, yo, twice.
the man didn't deserve what he got.
Not
but
twice, yo. No,
but it's one of
come
those.
on.
It's that aspect of like wrestling where like you look at someone's career and you're like, damn, dude, like this was it. Like when we saw him in WWE and he was in Seattle and he was giving that speech, and then Aubrey was crying. Aubrey Edwards was crying in the front row. You think about that moment, like you're like, well, that was it, man. That was gonna be
it.
You know,
Yeah.
his neck was messed up, and like he was doing talking smack. And I think when it comes to like an all around entertainer, there's no question for me. I would probably keep him in like the top 5, right? Just cutting promos wise, telling stories. I mean, he got everybody to hate recycling. And
Yes, he
he's like
did.
he's the biggest environmentalist ever. Like
Yeah,
he
he
people to
did.
boo recycling.
Yeah, he
Like that's
totally
always
did
gonna be a
that.
thing to me that sticks. You think about the stuff he did with Team Hell No, you think about the stuff that he did with the Miz when he came in originally, right? And in NXT when it
Yeah.
was, it was just a
That
game
game show. Yeah.
Yeah. And
The
then
stuff with
obviously
the original Nexus.
Nexus, yeah. And then, he gets fired, he gets brought back. He's on Team Cena for SummerSlam. It was cool, but the when I look at Bryan Danielson, I look at his whole career, I'm like, bro, like there's no question that you can't tell me that man is not top, at least like I said, top 6. Because when you're gonna compare him to like other people, you're gonna be like, well, how much did he draw? Well, he had a whole entire movement where, like you said, it led him to WrestleMania. He defeated all 3 members of Evolution in one night just to win the championship. So I don't know. I think it's good. I think it's good for him, and I'm glad for him. Congratulations to his whole run. And like I said, I hope that we get to still see him in a part-time role, still see him in a manager role, and then if he decides to go back to the E, when he retires, he gets put into that Hall of Fame. And hopefully we see an AEW Hall of Fame too, so that they can put him in that.
Yeah, maybe in like 10 years. Not 10 years, 5 more years. Give him a full 10 years up and running.
Right.
Where they can do something like that so it can be credible, which I think they can do. It depends on how long Tony wants to play promoter and booker.
He should, at one point in time, he should start playing owner and let everybody else play promoter and booker.
Right.
I said what I said. So let's see. We have some other comments that are in here right now. When we see full time in AEW. Yeah.
I guess his whole run, technically. I get what you're saying, bro. He barely wrestled. I understand that, but it was full time, technically.
Hey there, guys. What's up? Apparently, I got a new haircut today, and it was good. Glad you can find a barber on but I'm glad you can find someone to cut your hair on Sunday, because that's almost impossible for me.
It is almost impossible.
Daniel Bryan, WrestleMania 30 wins is a top 5 Mania moment. Obviously this is Chaz.
This is Chaz. Why are you trying to be? Really? You had to use that when you couldn't use your own?
I don't disagree with that comment. But you know what? If we were to do a top 10 moments, I think Daniel Bryan has 1. Actually, I think he has 2, because him putting Kofi over.
Yeah.
I think also sits in that top 10 mark.
Does. That was a good match.
Yeah. So 100%. I love that match too, and I loved that Bryan Danielson was calling him a B+ player.
Right. That never happened.
Your boy he beat Stone Cold and The Rock in the same night.
Nope, never happened. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't what?
No, yeah, what?
Certain things happen. I knew that there was like an undisputed title. I don't know what happened with it.
Yeah, I think what was like the first person? Who was that? I don't know. Like, was it like Triple H or somebody? I don't know those guys.
I thought it was Hunter. I thought it was Sean. I thought Sean was just trying to put himself over for the undisputed title first.
Yeah, I think it might have been.
Might have been Goldberg.
Yeah.
We're gonna move into our favorite segment for the 3 Count podcast. You guys know it. You guys just, for those who are watching this, just make the sound. Just make the sound.
Go.
I'm sure that I hope everybody heard it that you said Chris Jericho, because when I came back I just heard ho. And I was like, he's not far off.
Yeah. Oh, it's Chris Jericho. My other person, I debated of putting him more in there, and then the more and more we were starting to kind of talk about it, and the more and more stuff that I like remember seeing, it was like, bro. So, all right. First and foremost, Bobby Lashley was supposed to debut, right? Now they didn't do it because why? Because in one match, you had 2 returns
I'm not gonna
and an
front like that
attempted
wasn't
murder. Oh, actually, no, it was 3 returns. My bad.
Yeah.
3 returns total and an attempted murder
Yep. Yeah,
on a
100%.
14-hour show.
14 hours. Yeah.
And this
Yeah,
is
it was
and
nuts.
this is that was dumb to ruin. I mean, okay, look, don't get me wrong. I can't stand Jack Perry, but he was facing Shibata, and the match was pretty good. I think he kind of had that cold ass fucking finish, but I guess I get it. Protecting Shibata, I guess I got it. But then to have actually Garcia part was fine.
Yep.
And you know what? The MJF part probably would have been fine too. But then you add Adam Cole. Why does this happen to him? Every time he comes, or since he comes back, or makes a return, or finally shows up in AEW, it gets ruined by somebody else showing up. Swerve. So, oh yeah, yep, Rico. I forgot all about that. Tony, you're a dumbass for the way that you booked this.
My problem with, like, okay, so I agree. Like, we always put Chris on the list. He's always on the list, no pun
Yes.
intended. But then I also agree with Tony, the Tony one too, because it's like this match happens with Shibata. Daniel Garcia comes out for the save, right? Because he's obviously got bad blood with
Yeah.
Jack Perry. And then, like, you bring out MJF. Like, you didn't even need him there. Like,
No,
I
you really
understand
didn't.
why. I understand why you wanted because you want to be like, well, look, he also has problems with Daniel Garcia. And then you bring Adam Cole. And it's like, we never even, like, why is Adam Cole coming out to face off against MJF? And you'd be like, well, they have bad blood. Really? Because the last time I checked, he also had a whole faction with him that was called the Undisputed Kingdom. And they were supposed to be together. All of them.
Yep.
Where's Wardlow? Right? Where's Cole? Where's the other guys that are all tied into this whole thing? Like, this is crazy. Like, why are we doing this?
Nuts. It was like, why? It was
And then
like,
he comes out
oh, and he comes out a baby face. He
Comes
was
out
a
as a
heel the
baby
last time we
face.
saw him. It was like, yo.
I get it. His song is like way over. I understand. I 100% get it. But like, yo, he dropped all that like right before he left. Why are we trying to, like, listen? Rumor has it that him, whatever's going on in his personal life, right? Rumor has it there's some big changes for him, right? And he just kind of wants to get back. It, regardless, the story that you left us with was this half-ass ending that had Roderick and the Kingdom with you. So are we gonna tie up that loose end? Like, what are we doing? Is it
Right?
now gonna be because Kyle O'Reilly is with the conglomerate? Is that right? Conglomerate, whatever.
whatever
Conglomerate.
that is.
Yeah, so he's with them. Like, does Adam Cole come back? He leads them against the Undisputed Era. Like, I don't know, because now you're confusing me, which means that, it's something that Jeff Jarrett says is when you confuse them, you lose them. And that's the problem. Like, people are confused. Like, why is it that like, I'm great, Cole's back. Woo. but he is a hero.
Right?
He's a
And
bad guy.
it daps up Daniel Garcia. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I know.
And then he steals his moment.
Right.
He
Like,
totally stole that poor guy's moment, yo.
I was like, come on, man. We
Like,
could do better.
man, they
We could
could.
do better.
They could.
So
They could.
outside of that, the other person that I have, I'll put on there, and I guess I could always find a reason. The IWC.
Oh God.
Yeah.
What are they not? Or what are they doing?
Yeah, it was the complaining of like how Wrestle Dream was booked and how certain people were like, yeah, well, Mariah May wanted to bury this person and that person and this that, and I'm like, bro, like why are you all spreading rumors? Just stop, just
What
stop.
the match between her and Willow?
There's that, and then there's like I
That
guess
match
she's
was
like
good,
the match was
actually.
yeah.
Like, it's really, really good.
There's that, and then I mean, just
I
listen
mean,
to the
come on,
wrestling community,
we knew Mariah May was gonna win that match. Come on. If
and then the
anybody
wrestling
thought that
community
Willow was
starting
gonna
shit.
win,
Like, no,
like,
it's just I'm just man. That's how I feel about them all the time, man. So it is.
yeah, I don't know. So there you go. Those are your three.
Yep.
Chaz,
Chaz, you're watching the show. Put it together.
Yeah,
Put
there
the
you go. We're busy right now.
Yeah, we'll read the tweet after if you put it out, and I'm sure he's probably doing it now. He'll probably slide a fourth person in real quick. See, this man's hilarious. Hold on a second. All right, so let's get some. Where's Twitch? His way or the highway? It is his way or the highway, or black out or lights out. I forget what the name of that Biscuit song was. I think it's called.
Oh God, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't remember, but yeah. I hope that he gets power soon.
Yeah. Otherwise, he'll be stuck in the boiler.
Yeah.
Where's Wardlow?
No clue.
Did erotic shake Hook's hand, kind of a face move? Yes,
he did.
He did. I thought Willow was gonna win.
Think you're an idiot.
Yeah, good job, Chad. Kind of wanted Willow to win too. I'm not gonna lie. Dumbass of the week, Tyler Lindenbaum, which may have been the worst center snap of all time. Yeah. I'm like checking out the Broncos game at the same time, so I'm not really caring about what happened with the Ravens or the Commanders. I don't really. He's a counterfeit, 100%. All right, let's move on to our next topic, which I wish Chaz was here to talk about this one, right? So, women's tag match was on 2 minutes. Issues, right? That's how he wants to put it.
Hold on, which one?
So we're talking about SmackDown. The women's match with
the NXT ladies.
Yeah,
Jackson from Metalcore.
And, yeah. And Bianca Belair and
Jade.
Yeah, Cargill. Wow.
You want me to go first again? Because I don't mind.
Yeah, because I'm sure we're probably going to agree on this.
Yeah, mine is simple on this. I'm going to put it like this for you folks who are mad about this, but if they didn't beat them in 2 minutes, we got a problem. Developmental. What it do?
I mean,
plain and simple, we got a problem if they did not beat them in 2 minutes or less. Let's keep it real. The match went the way it was supposed to. That's all I got to say on that one.
You know what's crazy though? I thought the match at the end of the day worked in their favor, and Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson's favor, and I'm gonna tell you why. They came into the main roster. They debuted, right? Then they had their heel gimmick, right? Instantly, Bianca and Jade Cargill come out and they celebrate. They're doing their thing, and the girls, they just beat the holy hell out of them. Jade didn't even take a bump. She just gets thrown out the ring. Okay. And then from there, we just see offense after offense after offense after offense after offense being hit on Bianca Belair. Okay. I thought for what was supposed to be given, right, in an aspect of this story that Jade was supposed to be the powerhouse and she was going to come in and wreck house like she was supposed to, I thought this match was great. I had no problem with the time limit of it. I looked at Jackson and I looked at Legend just beating the dog piss out of
They did though.
Bianca Belair, and they
They
were hitting
did.
him with tons of tag moves. They were working together. They did everything I thought they were supposed to do, right? These are the champs. They took the fight to the champs. Ultimately, Bianca gets the tag, right? She tags in Jay. Jay comes in, clears some house. They, she comes with a little house of fire. They, hit their finisher and they win. And I was like, yo, and I do understand where the point comes from, right? With Chaz. I do understand. But it's
Do
to the
better.
fact of
I get it.
it's the fact that this was a match that was meant to be get these girls some exposure up here on the SmackDown roster. Because let's be real, judging by how they performed on SmackDown, they were over with the crowd,
Yeah.
and they're going to be. You'll see them soon. Like I don't know how soon, but you'll see them soon.
I like to see the whole group up there. I think
Yeah,
they did
and
actually blend well on SmackDown.
I think they did. Like they got the point across. Like, hey, they're gonna be some fearsome foes coming up, and I really liked it. I was happy with what they did. They came out, they got over with the crowd. They had the character work down. Then they go in, they beat the dog piss out of the tag champs, and then ultimately they lose, and that's what was supposed to happen. And I didn't think anything of it until I saw it, and I understand because we have seen this in history, right? Where these women's matches, they start off really good women's matches, and then for some reason in our history, right, of professional wrestling, the women's matches just get short, right? No TV time whatsoever, or very little TV time, or they do a segment where they put a bunch of women in like one match just to say they had a women's match. And it didn't even go that long. It was like 5 minutes, 6 minutes long. So I understand where it comes from, but I also think that in an aspect of this story for this match, it made sense. And I get it, right? Because when you look at AEW, the women's matches were even cut short, except for when they're on their pay-per-view. Then they give them some time, right? And then they kill it, like we've seen, like we were just saying with Mariah May and Willow. But I don't know if it's a cause of concern yet. If it is, if it happens again, obviously we know we have some problems, right? And then some things need to be addressed. But I think right now, I think for this match, for the context of what was going on, I think it's fine.
Same.
So so now Chaz is probably knowing Chaz has literally gone.
Well,
He's walked away from his tablet and then came back and then he typed in such a cop out answer talking about you, not me.
Yeah, whatever.
And hey, bro, why did Kevin Shenanigans have to be during that match?
I don't think it took time from it, and it just made sense. You
We watched
came
the
out
whole
there and
match.
apologized though too. He apologized. It's not a big deal. And that, like, if he didn't even shit on him either. He just said he apologized for being a dick. He just had to get it up. If you had to pick a match during that show and what it was going to be at, and he was going to do it, sorry, that was kind of the right match. You can't do that with the United States title match.
Yeah.
Or the main event. There might have been another match you could have did it to, but you know what I mean. It just is what it is.
Yeah, I mean it happened, but I understand. Like,
I do too.
But it's like not right now. I just want to. I don't see it as a cause of concern, and we'll obviously now that we've put an eye out for it, we'll definitely keep an eye out on it because we'll be like, let's check it out, let's see. But I kind of figured you and I were both going to kind of agree on it, like. Is it really that big of a concern? Because I mean, if it was like Chelsea Green and Piper Niven getting beat up in 2 minutes, I'm gonna be real, Chaz, because you're watching this. Probably wouldn't even thought about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. I mean, I understand where you're coming from.
You would expect it.
But Paul don't see color.
But wasn't there like 4 like black women in the ring at the same time?
Yeah. I like this comment though.
No, it is a good one.
Chaz is definitely pissed off. Like, all right. So if you guys want to keep putting your comments in, we'll keep reading them out. But we're gonna move on because I figured we were both gonna kind of agree on this whole subject about that one.
Yeah.
But yo, let's move over. Okay, so what happened to the viewers on Dynamite's Title Tuesday? I'm gonna be honest, man. I didn't even watch Dynamite on Tuesday because I was too busy watching NXT.
I knew it was on. I ain't gonna lie to you, I knew it was on. However, when I found out what the numbers were, I was actually a little surprised.
Yeah,
Um, I expected a little better.
I mean, yeah,
Like
but
I expected the spread to be more of like maybe like a 200,000 viewer difference, maybe
mhm.
not more than double or almost double. I'm at say
Yeah,
almost double.
I think with the odd start time, it was on a different day, and the odd start time really didn't
Yeah,
help it at
no,
all
that didn't help it either.
because
But
we're
they did it.
NXT.
But they did it last year, and
Yeah,
they did better numbers last year,
yeah, I'm gonna be honest,
and they
man.
went direct head to head last time
But I think they pumped that up too, right? Because I don't
for the
remember
whole.
seeing anything on.
It
Like,
was
I'm gonna be
almost like
honest.
he gave up. He was just like, ah.
Yeah, it's there. You guys will watch it if you want to watch it. Like, meh.
But it was
Like
the go home to wrestle dream.
it was, and
It was
I'm saying
still,
like,
eh.
and it wasn't anything that really caught my mind that made me want to go see it anyway. Like, I'll be real. I'm just like not trying to be rude about it, but I was like, yo, like, what was supposed to happen on this show? You know?
It was. I don't even remember what happened on the show, if I'm being honest.
And if you guys are wondering too, what we're talking about is on TBS there was 329,000 viewers watching the show and a 0.1 in 18 to 49 demographic. So if that's what you're trying to figure out, comparative to I gotta see NXT TV ratings. I'm actually looking these up live as we're doing this, so just for you guys, do some good stuff.
329. God damn.
329,000. Yeah, I mean you're talking about a network that has million. Is it a million homes?
Yeah.
Million plus homes, and you're only getting. I mean, I say that knowing that I think it's like 11 million homes, or something like that. I don't
It's
remember.
a lot,
There's a lot.
but you're only getting like a little portion at your time. Damn,
To
it's
give you an idea of
crazy.
like how crazy it really is that on CW, right? NXT had 874,000. So it's quite the contrary of
It is
what's
a
going
big
on.
contrast.
Yeah. So that's crazy to me to think about. Like, you're like, whoa, snap. Like, but again, you have someone like Randy Orton, like on the show, wrestling Javion Evans, right? So we're getting like this huge mashup, and then
There's a lot of good stuff on NXT.
there was a lot of the tag champs, the women's
Yeah.
tag champs are on the show.
Yeah.
Like there's that. Like we see them on the show, right? And they have the whole ring where they're in with Kalani Jordan and who else was in the ring at that time? Was it Trick Williams and Jey
Yeah.
Uso? Were in it. So you had this huge celebration going on. Jay showing up also probably would have turned a lot of people over because they probably didn't know that he was gonna be on the show, and their friends probably told them. So I
Yep.
mean, it's just like there's a lot of stuff that's going on. Like like AEW wasn't doing that. They were just kind of like, yeah, we're here on a Tuesday night doing Title Tuesday, and then I think Britt
One
Baker was
title.
like, yeah, and Britt Baker was supposed to be there, but she got sick, so she couldn't be
Yeah.
there. So I mean, there's a lot of things that happen, but it
Some
is what
travel.
it is.
I know there was like some travel issues because of the storms and the
Yeah.
weather, but it was supposed to be Title Tuesday, and we got a title defended on a Tuesday.
Yeah. So, and I get it, right? Cards up to change, things are gonna happen.
Yeah.
But I mean, I didn't even know it was Title Tuesday. Tell you that much.
I only knew because Idol said something, and I was like, "Oh, I wonder if anybody's watching it." And he was like, "Are you?" I was like, "Nope."
But it goes back to the problem, right? Like not very many people. So people know, even if you did know it's Title Tuesday, you also know that Wrestle Dream is around the corner. So why are you gonna put all your titles on Title Tuesday when you have Wrestle Dream in a couple days? Like that don't make no sense.
Yeah, you should have just. I don't know. It
Should just
should have
wait.
been a
Should just
regular Dynamite.
go home episode of Dynamite. Don't worry about it. And then in like a few weeks, then you have Title Tuesday, or you can do
Title Wednesday.
Battle of the Belts, whatever, right?
Something.
But yeah, it wasn't necessary. Like, and that's not, you're not counter programming because your show is on an hour later after NXT starts. So NXT starts at 8, you start at 9. People are still probably gonna watch NXT because they know Randy Orton is on the main event, so he's holding out till 10. And then what happens after that? Now you think that you're hanging on? Like, come on, man. Like they
People
probably
are like,
go to
all right,
bed.
well, bedtime.
Bedtime. Unless you're me and you're playing Call of Duty. See? So like I just
Or
pass it
Diablo. Diablo
There you go.
4. That
See?
new season, that new expansion drop.
So we're all looking for something different to do. So it's not even fair for them. You know what I mean? Like it is what it is. But
It is though. I actually felt bad for them because I was expecting them to do like a little better than what they gave. It's crazy, just because they did way better last year, and WWE stacked the card way more
yeah, I think,
last year.
wasn't it? I think like the puck dropped on Tuesday too last week.
I think so. Yeah.
Hockey night was opening, so
Yeah.
obviously not saying that there's a huge, but you know, there are some people who watch wrestling and who watch hockey, and they probably decide they want to watch their team play because the pucks are dropping. You know, not trying to say anything, but I'm not trying to defend AEW. But then again, like I said, like if you're gonna make it, you got to make it a spectacle. There's got to be reasons to watch, and if you're only defending one title, not really looking good for you. You know what I mean? Especially when you know that Wrestle Dreams come around the corner. Like I'm not watching Title Tuesday if I know that, let's say like Young Bucks are competing against the Kingdom, right? It's Young Bucks for the Kingdom for the AEW tag titles. But on Saturday you're gonna be able to see, you know, the winner of that match take on Private Party. I'm like, well, okay, so the Bucks are winning because they're clearly the bigger match for that one. So we're gonna go ahead and skip this match. I'm gonna skip this show and just keep it moving, you know. So I'm not
I didn't read about it. It was one of those.
Okay, I just want the highlights. Oh, snaps. Well, listen.
Chaz, you put up the poll?
Yeah, has it? Did you put up Chaz? You put up the poll? I don't know, because you know he probably stopped talking.
Didn't.
He probably did not. No. Wait, maybe. We'll see. Oh, he did.
Oh,
so
look at that.
Said, okay, so funny enough that Chaz put this out there. He said, the SmackDown booking team should also be on Dumbass of the Week. No, I'm sure for that match. Like the
really?
The Kevin Owens story. The Kevin Owens story thing being kind of drawn through the whole thing. I can see his point to it. I'm going to still say that I wouldn't have put them in there, but to each their own. But as of right now, as of 16 minutes ago, let's see. We are tied with 3 votes. Tony Khan at 33%, the IWC at 33%, and the SmackDown booking team at 33%.
It's a 3-way tie?
It's a 3-way tie right now.
Oh. Huh.
Interesting. It's very interesting.
Hey, I guess we'll check back another time and maybe we'll bring it up again and see who actually won that bitch.
Yeah, Randy Orton. Yeah, that'll put butts in the seats. Apparently, it did.
You're right. You talking about Tony Schiavone trying to spoil it? I think he learned his lesson. That wasn't even his idea. He didn't even agree with it. Thought it was dumb.
That's 100% true. It's I don't know. It's weird to me because it's like it's weird to me that was like a whole thing that happened too. You know, let's have some fun. We have 10 minutes to kill before we have to actually end this program.
All right, what you got?
So let's talk about the night that or the night that WCW lost and just continued to lose
Oh,
after in the ratings
what
war.
night was the night that it was just like
The night of, hey, if you flip over right now, you're gonna see Mick Foley win the WWF title.
that was the night, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was it. That was the last time people wanted to watch Mick Foley win the title. He won the title, and
Ah,
then again, never did WCW beat WWE in the polls or in the ratings. And I think
you're
it's
right.
interesting because it's like it goes back to like a whole karma incident, right? Like,
I know they were starting to go back and forth a little bit before that. Like it
mhm,
was getting closer. Like the ratings were getting closer and closer.
yeah,
And then I think they had like 1 week where it was like damn near equal. And then I think it was like a back and forth. And then that day that just killed them. Like
100%.
I think it was slowly starting to slip before that. It was the birth of the attitude era where people were just starting to like, oh, okay. And then they were watching both.
Yep.
And then like
I was one of those kids that I was watching WCW pretty hardcore at that time because I really didn't know, and every once in a while I would flip through and I to be fair, I didn't even know what channel USA was on at the time, right? And I was just looking for like I was just flipping through the channels. I remember my dad was watching football at the time, and I remember him flipping through, and I saw wrestling, and I was like, "Yo, what is that? That's not WCW," and it was WWF at the time. And then I remember like finding it myself on my own TV in my room, and I would flip between 15 and 27, which was TNT and USA. And I would be watching both programs. But like what was so interesting about that night in particular too was I remember them talking about it, but it was so like I was so young, like it didn't register with me. And so I just kept watching WCW like because I wanted to see what was going on. And then like years later, like I realized like how big of a moment that was. Like that they had
I
really spoiled
was
somebody else's program.
I was old enough to register what they were doing. I was also like you, flipping back and forth. Like the I see I was old enough to like, okay, I see what WCW's doing, but I'm a WWE guy. Like I always been WWF like hard through and through. So like it got to the point where, I'd watch Raw, tape, you know, Nitro
Right.
until they had the direct rewatch right after. So I'd be up for hours on Monday night. You talking about going to like bed tired as fuck on a Tuesday morning? Worth it. You get, he just gave me what 4 hours of wrestling. So like I remember it was one of because I ain't gonna lie to you. Sometimes I would flip back and forth through commercials because sometimes there wouldn't be commercials on one, and it happened to be like they came because I remember they came on a couple of minutes before Raw, and I believe that's kind of when it happened when Tony said it, and it was like, "Yo, are you really like wow?" First the title in the trash can, and then of course not really knowing too much and grounding, you weren't getting a lot of the backstage stuff, so it's like, oh, and you stole like Diesel and Razor. Like, you're a piece of shit. Like, Eric, you are a piece of shit. Let's call it what it was. But it was history. It was historic. Um yeah, no, they shot themselves in the foot.
Yeah, ruined all the ratings for them and everything too. It's like, it was a thing too. Like I know there was lot of stuff that was leading up to it because I know like if you guys watch, I think it was called like the downfall of WCW or something like that. They had talked about there was just like a lack of characters in WCW, right? Like the luchadors were holding it down.
Yeah, they
And then
were.
when you
First
got to
hour was great.
yeah, and then you got to a second hour and it's like there's all this like all the main eventers, right? Hogan, the Giant, Nature Boy, Four Horsemen, right? Like NWO, Wolfpack, Sting, all of that, all those guys. But there really wasn't like anything like there was no like real characters like to hold you. And so like I remember Eric Bischoff creating like Wrath and Mortis, and
Mortis and
Glacier.
Glacier.
Yeah, because he's
Yeah.
like, I want this Mortal Kombat style type character in, and I think the only one that really worked out for to me was Mortis, like because Chris Canyon was the man.
Dude, Mortis, I love that character. Actually, I did enjoy the little beef that the three of them had.
Yeah,
Like Raph and Mortis fucking with poor Glacier. Poor guy.
Glacier
Poor,
had a
poor
beam.
guy.
He had the spotlight with the snow dropping down
Yeah.
on him as he's doing like
I know.
karate.
All I'm saying is the entrance was dope back in the day. It is cheesy as fuck now.
Yeah,
However, back then, fucked with it hard.
I was in. Yeah, I was in. And I know you had guys like DDP too, like, but you had to cram so much in that first hour. And I remember like there was a lot of trash talk about, oh yeah, and how did I forget about Ravens Flock?
Ravens flock.
Yeah,
Love the flock.
love
Love
the
the
flock,
flock.
especially when Kidman was on there.
Right?
But it was just one of those things where it's like you're looking back at wrestling now, and we're like, damn, dude, like you really had like a lack of depth in the
Yeah,
characters, but you
they
had
really
a lot
did.
of great wrestlers in WCW. Like if it wasn't for like and you know, there's always gonna be that thing where if it wasn't for National Hall, jumping ship, like no one's getting the money that they're getting today. That
Oh
was all
God, no,
them.
they would.
Yeah,
No, it would have
they all
not.
turned it over. But when you look back, it's like you don't really get to see a whole lot of what WCW was. Like you can rattle a lot. Like if unless you're like a diehard WCW fan, right? You're really not naming a lot of people from WCW. Like everyone knows Sting. They know Hogan was there. You know, you
I could probably rattle off
Bray.
probably most of the NWO.
But no, that's what I'm saying. But again, it goes back to what I just said. Like
Right.
you and I, like we watched all of
Yeah, we actually
WCW.
watched it. So
Yeah,
there's a
we
lot of
watched it.
people
So when you
that I
look
could
at
name off. Steiners.
right,
Yeah.
Harlem Heat, you know what I mean? We can run
Yeah.
it down.
Yeah, we could.
But it goes back to that whole thing that like if you were just a casual fan, you really did not pay attention to WCW. You know, when you talk about wrestlers, right, and you ask people who their favorite wrestlers were when they were kids, right, or even you guys can write in your favorite wrestlers now, and we'll talk about it. But it's like when you talk about who's your favorite wrestler, people are going to say Austin. They're going to say The Rock, you know, Hogan, right? Which depending on when you started watching wrestling, that was
Right.
WWF or that could have been WCW, but that's really kind of like it. Ric Flair, depending on what side when you started
Yeah.
watching him, they could be NWA Ric Flair, or that could be WWF or WWE, or even NWA TNA Ric Flair. Like, you know,
Yeah.
it just kind of depends. Like when you start following, but in WCW again, like AJ Styles started at WCW, and like
At the
not very
wrong
many.
time.
Yeah, no one really remembers that. Like, yo, that's what I'm saying. Like, there was just like there was a thing about if you had a really cool finisher, or if you could really get the crowd into you, you're gonna remember them. I've literally sat here, right, and rattled off tons of names from WCW, right? Never once I mentioned Diamond Dallas Page, and like DDP was like the man. He was the man at WCW. But it's like when I think about it, just when I think about wrestling fans who are probably adults now who were kids then, they're probably not rattling off some of those names. Like I would be curious to see people now who are like our age, right, late 30s, early 40s, and just ask them like, "Yo, rattle me off some of your favorite wrestlers from wrestling. If you watch wrestling, name me some of your favorite wrestlers." I bet you we probably would get to probably like I'm gonna say 30% of people will name probably one or two wrestlers from WCW.
Probably.
And I think it really
And it might not even be from their time in WCW.
right. Right, exactly. Like again, it goes back to what I was saying, right? There's like this lack of characters that were on WCW that were like keeping you attached to it, right? Like they were trying, there's no doubt, right? I mean, when you have,
It was the beginning. See what it
Vampiro.
was. What it was the beginning. Because you got to remember, before the NWO, they were doing horrible.
Right.
It was that whole entire mystique around Hall and Nash being there.
Right.
Did they get sent by Vince? Like, that was a kick-ass story until, let me tell you what I think ruined it for me.
What's that?
Sold Out. The
Oh,
first
yeah.
the first NWO Sold Out. That ruined the NWO for me, I think, permanently. It was like, wow, this really is a joke. There's way too many of you guys. And then I was like, and then what they just how to, like, the WCW guys. Like, it was just, I don't know, it was bad. It's funny to see Eric try to defend that.
Let me tell you about something that really will blow your mind, right? So I'm a kid. I'm watching, and this is 97, so I'm 12, maybe 11, 12 years old. And I'm sitting at home and I'm watching all these people battling for the belts in WCW, right? And I say out loud to myself, you know what they should do? They should take all the titles and put them in one match. And the winner of that faction, that match with the faction, gets the titles. 2 weeks later, there it is. WCW, NWO, the Four Horsemen, and then NWO, was it NWO Wolfpack or was it Roddy's team?
I can't remember, but I know
They
what
were
you're talking
there.
about.
It was four factions all battling for every single title that WCW held. And I was like,
I remember that.
and I remember like staring at the TV screen like, yo, is the TV like reading my mind? Like, how did they come up with this? Like, that was my idea.
because WCW back then was being booked by a 12-year-old. Oh, that's what AEW is freaking booked by a fucking 12-year-old.
But I was so confused. Like, I was so confused. I was like, there's no way that thing. But I was like, all right, maybe it's time to like kind of, because I remember like not really watching WCW in the 2000s, but I remember watching a lot of WWE. So seeing like Cena's debut and seeing Deacon Batista show up and then like Randy and all those guys coming through, I just never thought about. I was like, yo, that's crazy. And then I think it was like 2005 is when Rey Mysterio showed up, and I was like, never paying attention to another wrestling show again as long as Rey Mysterio was on TV, because that was my guy. And I've said that numerous times on this show.
Yeah, and then
But it was just like I said again, to me, it's completely wild that like WCW like had such a hard fall, and like that was it.
Yeah, it did. It was like this huge rise from the ashes of nothingness to this, like, again, I'm gonna bring in this reference. Fucking WCW shot itself in the fucking foot and bled out and refused to see a doctor. That's what happened.
It really was. It really was. I think this is a thing that we should start doing. We should start doing like a random, and it doesn't even have to be a topic. We just like randomly be talking about something that happened that
I'm
we
okay
remember.
with that.
I think that would be. You guys let us know, because we want to hear from you guys. Because I know there'll be 4 of us on here sometimes, and we all have like our opinions and things like that that are going on.
It could go a little long, but I think this would be a good like BS, like discussion to have, because I'm old as fuck. I've seen a lot.
Well, I think about some of the moments that essentially like Bryan Danielson, right? Like, we could talk about the Yes Movement. We could talk about Kofi Mania. We could talk about whether it was a good idea for John Cena to go over at SummerSlam over Nexus.
That's one of those. I don't think I can ever agree with. That is one of those that I was very disappointed in Vince.
Well,
just like the streak, I was very disappointed in Vince about that.
Depending on who you ask, that wasn't Vince's idea. About
whatever.
Somebody else had
that was Vince's idea.
Somebody else had to say. But yeah, I think about those things that we can go through and we can talk about some of those stuff that just like is funny, and then we can kind of just talk about like where we were when that happened? Because I remember we can actually talk about the birth of NXT. You know, like I
Yeah,
know where I
that was
was when
cool.
NXT started. Like I was in Iraq when NXT was started.
I remember when NXT started.
I remember like ECW like coming to an end, and like
I
Kofi
remember
was
that.
on ECW, and then it was like coming next week. Don't worry, you guys are gonna see the debut of our new show NXT instead of ECW, and then like ECW ended. I remember watching Raw, seeing Bobby Lashley on Raw with his title, his ECW title, and then NXT was in place on Sci-Fi. And I was like,
Yeah,
holy
I
snap!
remember when that happened.
So yeah, we can talk about some of that stuff. We can hop in there. You guys let us know. We definitely want to
I-
have fun, and you guys can actually put out. If you guys want to, you guys can put out your topics too, and we could probably talk about them. Let's jump through here real quick. Check out the adjective play. Yeah,
Right,
didn't LA Knight like make fun of him for that?
right. Yeah, he did.
The horse, yes.
Horace Hogan.
Yo, how about this one? A washed up beefcake.
Oh, that's
It was so
mean.
it was so crazy how Beefcake and Hogan were like best friends.
Yeah,
Like
they're really close. They're
yeah, they
really,
were
really
really
close.
close. Another downfall was when Goldberg put his arm through the car window.
That didn't help.
That did not
The
help.
cattle prod is really what made him go down. I mean, you lost because you got electrocuted.
Well, and like listening to Nash talk about it, where he's like, the crowd was like cheering for him versus
Yeah, no, they were.
yeah,
They
cheering
were.
for Goldberg. Like yeah, I could definitely understand.
Because the Wolfpack was over.
The Wolfpack was over. The Wolfpack
That's
was
why.
way over. C
That's
Murder
why.
did his thing on that track too. I don't care. What
Yeah,
anybody
he
else.
did. He did.
Jericho is still giving his 104
Dude, that is
1,004 holds.
dude, that was one of my favorite segments of his.
One of my favorite parts though was on AEW actually, when him and Dean were together, and he goes, "Well, you are the man of 1,000 holds, right?" And he was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Aren't you the man of 1,004 holds?" He's like, "I may have forgot a few." I love it. Number 524 armbar. Dude. Scott Norton is Tama Tonga.
Oh, that's me.
I
I
don't know.
mean,
I'm not gonna say it's Tama Tonga. I mean,
right? That's kind of mean.
I'm trying to think
Scott
of
Norton was a good wrestler, though.
he was a good wrestler.
He really was, and so was Ray Trailer.
Ray
Taylor.
Trailer was Tonga Loa. See,
That's
I don't know
messed up.
about that one. I don't know if I can agree with, because Ray Trailer was like a really good wrestler.
He
was really solid.
He
And
really
Tonga
was.
Loa,
He is. Oh my god.
Tonga Loa has his moments.
He
Like
does.
he's really good at what he does, but he also like he just. Sometimes I watch him like I don't understand how he got this far. I think -1. I think -1 is booking AEW. Probably
He might be. He could
might be. You know,
Wouldn't
that
be
might have been a
surprised.
lifelong dream of his.
Right.
Yep. That's because at 12-year-old, you as much wrestling knowledge as Vince Russo. That's 100% true.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
He can't. I would love to have. Like, I'm gonna be honest. If I could bring Vince Russo on Now Enter the Ring and have a discussion with him, I would ask him about a lot of those matches. Like a lot of those matches. So I'm like, yo, what made you want to put everything on a pole match? You had a mom on a pole, Viagra on a pole, flag on a pole, like pole on a pole. Like,
I don't know. Right? I don't know if I could actually be with you on that interview. My disdain. The reason I'm mad at him is for a few different reasons. The shit that he pulled with Hogan and Jarrett and that whole situation at the pay-per-view. And two, to not understand that if it wasn't for somebody like the team at WWE, his good ideas wouldn't have been as good as they were. He had a filter system in WWE, and he got a big head.
Yep.
And you saw what happened when he doesn't have a filter.
Title swap. Val Venus choppy.
That was funny.
That's another moment for WWE. But again, see, okay, so there's another person that we were talking about. Like, I know a lot of people don't like him now, but at the time, Val Venus was like over, and not
Yeah,
even
he
just like
was.
over. Like, we're talking about like more women were watching. Hello, ladies, and everyone
Yes,
was like,
they
"Oh
were.
my god, it's Val Venus." This
Yeah,
dude
they
was
were.
this dude. Okay, for YouTube purposes, this dude was a corn star. Like this
Yes,
dude,
he was.
his finishing move was the money shot.
Yes, it was.
You know?
I mean, his like video, his like entrance video was like things getting drilled into things
It was like the
and
screw.
like half naked ladies, and dude, he could walk up to females. Look, you can't do what Val Venus did back in the day
No,
and
absolutely
get
not.
away with that. You'd be going to jail.
Going to jail. Straight to jail. Dude,
Yeah, you would.
there's no get out of free card. This is
No,
this is not monopoly. Just right to jail.
right to fucking jail. There's no way those women fans were just letting them have it.
And they made that man the Intercontinental Champion too.
Yeah,
He was Intercontinental Champion. He was a European champion. Like, yeah. Like he was over a lot.
Yeah, he
The big
was.
Balboski.
And then right to
Mark
censor.
Henry, the dad of a hand.
Oh
Yeah.
God, I remember that.
Yep, I remember that. I remember Briscoe just like throwing up.
I heard that was all real. I mean, they didn't tell him what was gonna come out of there, and like it all came out. He legitly threw up. Like everybody got sick to their stomach during that
It's the
whole entire
wildest thing.
part. I
I
heard
know.
about that. I was like,
I love the fact that
damn.
they did that. They did a reunion. Was it the 25-year show?
Yeah,
And like
yeah.
the hand was in the background. I remember Goldberg, Hogan on
Yes, for the
TNT,
title.
right? Yeah, no, that was a
a
great
dope
moment
thing.
too for
That was a dope
Goldberg.
thing. Yeah, it was.
That was a great moment for Goldberg. Like, because at the
Mm.
time he was the United States heavyweight champion too.
Yep.
He
And they were
had
in
both belts.
Georgia. I think they were in Georgia at the time
Yeah,
too. So that was pretty
I
dope.
forgot about that.
I remember watching that.
That whole Goldberg experience. That was like one of the few experiments that WCW ran with, and it was just successful. Was just putting that man on an undefeated streak.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you know something. I wasn't that big of a Goldberg fan, and this is the reason why. He started getting it was because of the match that he had with Regal.
Yeah, I mean that's where
That kind of ruined him for me, and then the fact that I could count back then. So and I knew they weren't having house shows, and I know he wasn't on Thunder. So how did his number get that high?
wrestling.
Exactly. It
You
was
know,
like, 'cause seriously, it was jumping week to week.
yeah, and I know
Like
they said that like
massive amount.
he was like going around and like wrestling under WCW banner at other shows, and he wasn't going nowhere. I for me, the match with Hugh Morris, his
That
very
one
first
too.
match, was so lit. I don't care what I gotta say.
No, that
Man,
was a good one. Hugh put him over very legitimately as a monster,
yep,
and it was
hit it with
fast
that.
and quick.
What
If
was
the
the
match weren't,
what was
it's just
the
because they made him go long. That's why.
what was the is it called the laughing matter? No laughing matter. Was that his finish? Was that what he called his moonsault?
I can't
He hit him with
remember
the
what it's called.
moonsault, and then Goldberg kicked out, and then
Yeah,
like I remember at one point Goldberg did like a back handspring. Like I don't know
yeah.
why, but I was into it as a kid. I was like, I want to do that, and then like I started practicing because of Goldberg to do
No,
a back
the
handspring.
first Goldberg's first match was the perfect opponent to have Hugh in there with him.
Hmm.
It was just and Regal was the right person to be in there with him too. It's just that the match they shouldn't have been like, yeah, go out there and have a 5-minute match.
Go out there and
No.
wrestle him.
Yeah, like no. That was a bad idea, and I think that's what soured it for me.
Yeah. NWO-SWO. Listen, like that. It is
Hey,
not
you just gotta live with it, man.
He was the Tomatonga of the NWO.
Oh,
As irrelevant in NWO as they are in SWO. That's not fair. I want to live long enough to piss on his grave, Jim Cornette. Yep.
Yes, he did.
Regarding Val Venus, and then he went to right to censor. He did.
I
did.
love Right to Censor Val. He was great in that.
And then 128-0, right, and counting.
I
Uh,
heard that Godfather did not want to be in that group.
yeah, the Good Father. I can
Yeah, he
imagine
was
he
really
got
upset, but he added to the group
he
though.
did.
It was like I think if they didn't have him, I don't think they would have been really legitimized.
No, and I mean they had a lot of great talent in Right to Censor because I mean,
Yeah,
like,
they did.
listen,
TV,
they're all great individually.
Ivy,
Yeah,
Bull, all of them. Like all every member of Right to Censor were great talent.
and I love the fact that Ivy came back for that women's rumble in the Right to Censor
Yeah, I
gear.
know that was so great.
She was
That
like,
was so
and
great.
she legitimately was like, "Look at these women here acting like young little girls." They just threw her ass out.
Oh, I do remember hearing about that. But it's
Hey,
Bruno
Bruno
though.
sold out MSG 135 weeks in a row.
You know what? That's more believable than Goldberg's streak.
The first one with the Big Show / Giant. Oh yeah, that's when
Yeah,
Goldberg kicked out of the choke slam
yep, I
versus the
remember
Giant.
that.
I remember when they had the match and they had NWO versus the Wolfpack versus Goldberg. Well, it's supposed to be WCW. It was at Road Wild,
I
and like
remember
Goldberg
that.
won.
I
He was the
remember
only one
that.
in the match, and he pinned the Giant. Everybody else was thrown over the top rope. He pinned
Yep,
it.
I remember that.
But that wasn't Regal's fault. It was not Regal's fault.
No, that wasn't.
The
It
Good
was
Father.
booking.
The Good Father is greater than Papa Shango. You know what? The Good Father was not more than. I love Papa
Oh,
Shango.
Papa Shango was the shit.
Yeah, I couldn't agree. I would say that the Good Father was greater than that fighter gimmick that he had.
Oh, Kama Mustafa.
Yeah, come on, stop.
Yeah, that one was corny. I didn't like that one. I'm happy Undertaker whooped his ass.
Making the Warrior blow chunks. Yeah,
Ah, I remember
with
that.
all the black stuff coming out of his face.
Locking
See,
Warrior in the damn casket.
yes.
That was crazy. I remember that. I was young then. That disturbed me actually.
And when Sting chose the Wolfpack and body slammed the Giant, that's how we knew Sting was. Ultimately Sting was God of
Right?
wrestling. he
Right.
just he did the thing that no
Body
one else
slam
could.
giant.
Yeah, he was the man. No, but that's us, man. Like that's us for the show today. I'm glad that we I wanted to have that talk. I just love the
Yeah,
fact that
that was a cool talk.
yeah, it was a great bullshit session. And this is how we actually talk off air too, y'all. So if you didn't know.
Sting is a very powerful guy. Actually, especially when he was younger.
And the power of
He's
the crow.
really strong. Yeah. I remember Sting was a big dude, especially like earlier on.
Mhm.
Surfer Sting.
Yeah.
Gotta remember he teamed up with big ass fucking Ultimate Warrior.
He was with
The
the
Blade
Warrior.
Runners. They were fucking huge as fuck back when they were the Blade Runners. See
And they were
pictures of
yeah.
those fools?
Yeah. Well, I remember hearing a story. It's fun because now we're gonna go on this other rant. I remember hearing a story about Sting when he went with Warrior, and Warrior was talking about getting protein and like what was essential about eating more and more protein. And he had convinced the people from I think they're like at a Wendy's or Kentucky Fried Chicken or something like that. He convinced them to like not only just let him have like all the chicken patties they had in the back, he just bought them all just for him. And he had just eaten like 2 chicken patties, and then he was just like, I just need more protein, bro. That's all I want. And he just kept ingesting like 6 to 7 like chicken breast sandwich or like chicken breast out of the sandwiches. He's like, I don't even want the bread. Just give me the chicken breast sandwich, chicken breast. And he was just engulfing like 6 to 7 of these like in a
Damn.
sitting. It's like, oh my god, it's a lot of food.
That is a lot of fucking food.
But yo, that is us. We're gonna wrap this up. We love having these conversations with you guys. Thank you for checking us out on. Well, it says Chaz and Friends, but this is Red Dog Friends, and like every great part of a wrestling match, we gotta take this home because this is Red Dog and Friends, and I'm your host Clifford Red Dog Miller, the man that leads you up that mountain called wrestling. And like always, We just want you guys to go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on all of our social media platforms. Want you guys to go out and check us out on Spotify, Amazon Music, even that dumb app with the stupid jingle that goes iHeartRadio or whatever it is. Check out our merch on ProWrestlingTees.com or even check it out on ForYourWear.com. Do all that stuff. Tell your mom about us, your brothers, your dad, your aunties, your uncles, your sisters, your cousins, your best friends, and your enemies, because we love haters too. You're doing a lot of stuff, but really you're just waiting for this episode to end. You're waiting for that outro, and then you're choosing another episode to listen to. Kawaii. Word.
Hey guys, it's the host of the 3 Count, Chaz Evans here. Make sure to let you know that I don't run shit, I don't do shit, I just talk shit. And make sure you subscribe to our podcast. What else did you do? You should also follow us on all social medias. That's the Facebook at 3 Count Podcast, the Instagram at 3 Count Pod, and the Twitter at 3count_pod. Also, if you like us a lot, you should definitely buy a t-shirt at ProWrestlingTees.com/3countpod, and that's the number 3. Don't be an idiot and type in THREE, because you're not going to find anything. So make sure you follow us at 3 Count Pod or 3count_pod on Twitter and buy a shirt. Be there or be somewhere else.